Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com. And like every Thursday, I'm joined by Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com, one of the best handicappers around and also one of the best sites in terms of longevity and quality in DocSports.com. Doug, how are you first and foremost?
Well, I just off the top, I'm very good. And on last Monday, you sometimes you try and think how things are going to go out in games. So my free play had Tennessee, and I said it would be close the first half, and then the second half they'd squeeze them, and then tend to pull away at the end. And that's exactly what happened. So that was nice to be right in terms of the free play picks on that. So that was good, Ross.
Yeah, prophetic as you are most of the time.
Once.
Yeah, once is more than a lot of other people ever are. So anyway, yeah, college basketball we're going to be talking today, and we'll be looking at two games that are played on Friday the 20th. Big East battle between St. John's and Villanova that Doug will be covering, and then also I'll be looking at the Boise State and New Mexico game, a big Mountain West Conference game, and both games will be televised by Fox Sports 1, by the way, folks. So before we get to that, Doug, tell the folks a little bit about how you're doing of late, which you may have coming up this weekend with the NFL playoffs upon us. And again, where obviously they find you at DocSports.com.
Absolutely, I will do that. And then when we're done with that, they will also can talk about a quick topic of discussion from something from the other day, and I'll get your opinion. I'll throw mine
Sure,
out.
sure.
So, anyways, I mentioned about being prophetic. Well, you know what? That's what happens when you get into a groove. Okay. You start to see things more clearly.
Yeah.
And the last 11 days, 31 and 15, 67+%. Okay. Across the board on all
Nice.
sports. $5,700 plus profit based on Doc's units. Okay. So that's been going really well. Some of the highlights involved in that 10-2 run in the NHL right now. Let's see here, 11-6 in the NBA,
Nice.
and then college basketball. I think just a little, 2 or 3 games over 500. So nothing great, but still better than what I had been doing there previously. So that was good. NFL, got that coming up this weekend, and 8 of the last 9 weeks, winning weeks in the NFL. I think that's like $4,000 worth of profit on that. And in football best bets in my last 13, 10, 2, and 1, Ross. So
Nice.
great stuff there as well. That's what is that, 83+% on
Yep.
those. So it's just been, it's just in that comfortable run area right now. It's like a athlete. You know what? Everything slows down,
Yep.
things make more sense to you, and you're able to find picks with more value that win. Simple as that. Now, Ross, I know you've had some good streaks also of late. Why don't you share with the folks exactly what's been going on with you?
Well, thank you, Doug, and I will. My college basketball 2-0 last night. I had West Virginia over TCU. Boy, oh boy. Doug, we talked about this, I think, either with you or somebody else on the show, but I'm pretty sure we talked about it with you one time or another. We had an unranked team in West Virginia laying 2.5 against the number 14 team in the country in TCU, who had been playing extremely well of late. And West Virginia wins the game handily by 9. It wasn't even that close, as the final score may indicate. And then I got a little bit lucky last night as I had Marquette -7.5 over Providence. They win by 8. And again, I know Doug doesn't want to hear this.
Hey,
We win some like that. We lose some
oh,
like
oh
that.
yeah. Hey, in regulation, I got no problem.
Anyway, my college basketball now on a 40-28 run since November 17th. Also, since Saturday, 7-2 with my college basketball picks. Again, in all sports, also a nice run, 35-21 since December 27th, folks. So that's pretty much 3 weeks or so. So between me and Doug, we've been red hot, not only in all sports, but specifically the NFL, college football. I did go 2-2 in the playoffs last week, folks, but I did finish the regular season at 57% and a winning year. Also finished the college football season extremely strong. 3-0 in college football playoffs, 18-7 with my last 25 in college football. I mention that because those usually at the tail end of the year are big time games, especially at college football playoff time. And I equate that to handicapping the NFL playoffs as well. So my point being that 2-2 is not to be 2-2. We're going to improve upon that mark this week. And you could find all my premium paid selections over at rbwins.com. And once again, Doug told you how hot he was. You could find Doug at docsports.com as well. Doug, the topic that you wanted to discuss.
Yes, well, I would like to discuss, and this has to do with handicapping, is college basketball coaches. I mean, it's coaches in general, but college basketball, because we had a wonderful illustration last Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, Kansas and Kansas State. Okay, that game. First of all, it was a wonderful game. Big 12 conference, as we've talked about, best conference in college basketball this year. So, but above and beyond that, the thing that was the most striking thing to me, Ross, in watching that game, is and everybody that follows college basketball knows. First of all, Bill Self, anytime out of a timeout, okay. I mean, I don't know what the scoring percentage is. It's ridiculous though, coming out of a timeout. Okay. I mean, that's just common knowledge there. But the thing that really struck me watching that game is that both teams were not shooting the ball that well from behind the line. Okay. And when you watch most college games, well, you know what? They keep firing because partly that's what the analytics say is the quickest way to put points together. And the other aspect of it is that they're just taught to play that way. So that's what they do. Keep shooting till you get hot. Well, in this game, neither team was shooting the ball that well. So what did they do? Start to run half court offense. And they ran plays in the half court offense. They ran some pick and roll stuff, but they also did some side to side things that go to the basket. Both teams drew fouls, fouls, made 2-point shots. Okay. And so it was actually wonderful to watch a game from my perspective, watch a game like that, and to see how the impact of coaching the right way can impact a game to where you, as the better, knowing that going in, can add 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 points some games onto the team that you like if you have the better coach in that situation. Ross, take the floor.
Yeah, all makes sense. I mean, when you break down that kind of thing, I like to look at Ken Pom. I made that clear. Yep. I know you do as well, Doug. Maybe not as much as me, but we all have our own ways to skin a cat. Right. But I really look for teams that are pretty balanced in terms of where they rank nationally in 2-point offense and 3-point offense, meaning their conversion rates. And when you get a team that's hitting around 55% of their 2-point shots and still hitting 35% or above in the 3-point shots, I look for a reason to use them, especially if they're an underdog. And why I say that, it's exactly what Doug just alluded to. If a team that's normally really good shooting to 3 starts out 2 for 17, they still have an inside game, or their 2-point field goal percentage should carry them. And then it goes back to coaching, because the coach needs to make that adjustment in game. And sometimes coaches are stubborn, and the two that you mentioned aren't, but some coaches are headstrong. This is their philosophy. This is what they want to do. And they won't adjust accordingly when their team is not converting those long distance attempts. So I think it's a great point. And I did have Kansas State in that game plus the points. I was quite happy with that result. But you're right, Doug. The Big 12, I know the Big 10 gets a lot of accolades, but the Big 12 in college basketball is one heck of a conference. And night to night, you have great matchups. And from top to bottom, you'd be hard pressed to find a conference that's any stronger. I know the Big Ten advocates out there, Doug, will argue with us on that point, and that's okay. It's a matter of opinion, but that's mine, and I agree with Doug in that regard. Doug,
yeah, and I'm sorry. In terms of the difference between, for example, the Big Ten and the SEC, is that the Big 12 ends up kind of like a combo of those two is
Yeah.
to where they have the athletes, okay, maybe not as many athletes as the SEC, but they have plenty of athletes that could, run the floor, okay, do all things. They can go and dunk the ball, with quickness and agility. But then they also have the physical strength that you see out of the Big Ten. So that to me is what separates the Big 12, is that they have both components, which nobody else has. There might
Yeah.
be some teams that do, but not top to bottom, as you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. And sort of top heavy. I mean, you get beyond Tennessee and Alabama, there's some good teams, but not great. You get
Right.
beyond Purdue, and help me out, Doug. Another one you want to Purdue's been
I
so
don't know.
dominant. Yeah,
There
Purdue's
is
been
nobody
so
else that's
dominant at the Big Ten level this year. So anyway, some good points. And hopefully, folks, you'll put that in your memory bank and you'll be able to use that to your advantage in future days in which you handicap college basketball on your own. And if you don't have the time to do so, I would highly recommend spend some money with us. We told you our records. It's all documented. Doug at docsports.com, myself at sportscapping.com, as well as other sites like Sports Memo and all reputable sites. Okay, they've been around for a while and do things the right way. So I know somebody chimed in the other day, don't pay these guys. I quickly got rid of that comment. I wouldn't even comment back on it, or reply, I should say. But folks, these free picks are great. We want to win them. Okay. And as you see, they're very streaky at times, where you're going to get more consistency with our paid selections. And neither one of us are volume players. I mean, I have no problem with volume players, Doug, because there's some that do it very well. Big Al puts out a ton of plays. But we went through his stuff yesterday. The last 27 months, he's put out 3,500 plays and he's hitting 55%. When you do the math, I know 55% seems a bit uninspiring to some of you out there, but when you're a volume player like that and you do the math, 55% over 3,500 plays, it's a lot of money. The key, though, when you deal with a volume handicapper, and I'm going to let Doug talk on this too, is you want to have really strict money management in place, because you're betting more games, you're betting more money. Instead of my 3 to 5%, I recommend for my clients, you might want to go 1 to 3% like Al does. Sean Higgs, another one. I mean, tremendous NFL year, over 160 picks during the regular season, and he hit 61%. I mean, that's excellent. But myself and Doug, we're very selective. And what I mean by that, folks, there might be a day we pass. There might be a day you only get one pick. And then there might be another day you get 7 on a big board on a Saturday. And when multiple sports are going on all at the same time, like NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball, and that's all going, and the NHL, again, the volume will go up. Anyway, Doug, your comments, and then that'll take you right into your pick.
Absolutely. Oh, so yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, there are lots of, like anything in life, there's lots of ways to do something and get the result. Okay. So if for what Ross likes, what I like to do, okay, just not into the volume aspect, but for those that do, well, they're doing it for a reason, because they know it, they understand it, and they're good at it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why they last. The ones that do volume, that go, helter skelter, well, guess what? They're gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Or if they're not gone, they will be gone, because they don't know how to make that work on a continual basis. And when they go through those bad streaks, they bury their clients, and then the money disappears for them. So no, but guys that have, like I said, stood the test of time, as Ross likes to say, hey, you know what? And it's real simple. You have 3,500 plays, do the math, divided by 55, figure what the win percentage is.
Yeah.
Roughly figure, 200 minus the plus 200 minus the 110.
Make it simple, Doug. 55 and 45 for every 100 picks.
Yeah.
You count 10% juice in on average. You're making a little over $500 per 100 picks. Times that by 35. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
right.
350 actually would be, because it's 3. So
yeah.
There you go. I mean, the math becomes quite simple, but some people get greedy. Some people want to get rich quick scheme, which some touts out there, and I don't want to name any, and they're starting to dwindle, which is I'm glad of, and so is Doug. will tell you they hit 70-75% for the year, because that's what you want to hear. We're telling you the reality, folks. So anyway, Doug, what do you got for us? St. John's and Villanova.
Well, I mentioned about coaches, and that certainly applies to in this particular game. Now, Villanova has had more than their fair share of injuries, putting together a 9-10 season thus far, but they're an abysmal 6-13 against the spread. And once again, here we go. How hard it is to replace a legendary coach, Jay Wright, in this case for Villanova. Now, the Wildcats are in the bottom half of the Big East standings at 3-5, straight up and against the spread, and they have failed to cover their last 4 games. And the worst one might have been the game they won. Okay, was beating Georgetown by only 4, and Georgetown has lost 28 straight Big East games, a record in that conference. Now, you might remember Nolan Richardson, and maybe you do, maybe you don't. I know Ross and I did, and and we loved him with his 40 minutes of hell basketball that won him a national championship at Arkansas. Great coach and everything. Did a lot of things right. He did it his way. Well, excuse me. One of his disciples was Mike Anderson, the St. John's coach. Now, Anderson actually, I don't know if he took over directly, but he took over at Arkansas after Richardson was gone. And he had actually had a pretty good run for a while there. Had a couple of nice teams, went to the NCAA tournament, and ended up things went the other way for a bit. And then he ended up at St. John's in 2019. And again, he's doing a decent job, 13-6 this year, but he's only 3-5 in the Big East as well. And why is that? Well, here's the answer: is that teams that play a certain style, okay, and especially a defensive style, other teams get to figure it out. When you play them every year, once or twice a year, that's what happens. And so there's holes in that St. John's defense, okay, when you're always scrambling. Well, if you keep the ball moving, that's how you take it apart. So whether it be near the rim, okay, with open shots, or wide open 3 points. And so that's what happened. Now, you won with West Virginia, Ross, yesterday, but that's another one that I'm going to throw out. That Huggins defense team, they play Kansas and more of that ilk. They get carved up. Okay. They're competitive. I'm not saying that, but they don't win. All right. So there's no official lines yet on the games that Ross and I are talking about. And so Ross used the Ken Pom line, which is obviously quite accurate almost all the time. And they got St. John's at -4 as a 4-point favorite. Now, I think the Villanova players structurally could figure out how to beat the St. John's defense, especially the ones that have been there. But I'm not sure the application is going to work out, okay? Because even though the coach has been there, there's just something off about this team, just overall. So I think they're going to make some more turnovers on this one, which is the bread and butter of St. John's, is creating turnovers, scoring off those turnovers. And then in the end, they'll make just enough free throws, because they're not a great free throw shooting team, to win by 7. So I'm going to say St. John's -4 for the Red Storm over Villanova on Friday night.
Yeah, just one correction. Ken Pom did have St. John's as 5. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Bet online.
Yes. That's right. I'm sorry. Yes,
they have
right.
it currently at 4. So yeah, we don't want people jumping in and going, Doug doesn't know what he's talking about.
Absolutely correct. Yep. That's my fault on that one. Yep.
Anyway, but folks, again, if you're looking for lines before they come out, Ken Pom is a great site. I mean, this morning when I looked, we talked about this because we're taping early. And we anticipated the lines not being out yet. I told Doug, and he agreed with me. You look at Ken Pom 2 and 3 days in advance where they predict the final scores. It's unbelievable how close they are on each and every occasion to the opening point spread and opening total. So just a key element that you might want to pick up and take a look at. It costs me $19 a year to subscribe to them. And it is well worth my time, because there's a plethora of college basketball, Doug, and it's we work enough. Sometimes you need shortcuts to find the best betting value, especially on a Saturday in college basketball, right? So anyway, I'm going to take a look at the game between New Mexico and Boise State. The game will be played in Albuquerque. Opening tip time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. And like Doug's game, it will be aired on Fox Sports 1. Right now, New Mexico is a 2.5-point favorite, and the total in this contest is 143.5. Speaking of Ken Pom, they have New Mexico as possessing the 7th strongest home court advantage in all of college basketball. We were talking off air, and it was a point where New Mexico was almost unbeatable for a long period of time at home, and then they tailed off for a while. And well, this year they've regained that home court advantage as they're 12-1 on their home floor this year and 17-2 overall. So Boise's not too shabby either, Doug. 15-4 on the year. But here's what concerns me about Boise. All 4 of their losses have come against teams that aren't ranked even in the top 50 at KenPom. As a matter of fact, 2 of them are ranked, not even ranked in the top 100. So they've had some bad losses this year. New Mexico is above average in about every offensive analytic category you could check, with the exception of offensive rebounding. However, they're number 33 in the nation in defensive rebounding, so they limit your second chance opportunities. Boise is a slow-paced offense, stout defense. They shoot the 3 awfully well, but 38.4% of their field goal attempts are 3, and they hit them at a pretty good percentage. But New Mexico, on the other hand, is number 29 in the country defending the 3 at 29.5%. So you know what? I think the home court, when it all comes, when it's all said and done, is going to be the deciding difference in this game. Look for a packed house in Albuquerque. Look for a lot of emotion in the building, and I look for New Mexico to cover the 2.5 and do so quite comfortably over Boise State. Back to you, Doug.
Yeah, I like that. I like this team. Patino, that's Patino's son is the coach now. I think he's probably in a better environment overall than being in the Big Ten. Big Ten's a tough league. Okay, and I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but it's harder to recruit, everything else, and being in the Mountain West, I think might be more advantageous. And because he does have some very good knowledge in terms of offense, I think that will help him, in that scenario. So I think he'll do well there. Boise State's a interesting team to watch. I've watched them, I think, 2 or 3 times this year, and they have a certain style, they have a certain way they like to play. Some years fast, some years a little bit slower, just depending upon their offensive talent. But like you said, depends on the 3 quite a bit. And as we know, when you depend on the 3, live by the sword, die by the sword. And in this case, with New Mexico's defense, the Lobos, I think I agree with you. I think they'll get the job done.
Yeah, and I just hope that Rick Pitino Jr. doesn't wear out his welcome like he did in Minnesota, because as you recall, when he took over the Gophers, they went to the NCAA tournament, I want to say the first 2 years, at least the first year. And New Mexico's off to a great start this year at 17-2. They were ranked in the top 25 for a while. They get penalized a little bit because of their strength of schedule isn't what a lot of the power conferences face. But in any event, we'll see. Wish him a lot of luck, but he's doing a great job in his first year over at New Mexico. So again, you can find Doug at DocSports.com. You can find Ross at RBWins.com. Doug will be back with us on Monday. Once again, we'll be discussing college basketball. And also, I'll be back tomorrow with Jesse Shule tomorrow morning with a couple of NBA picks. And then also back with Sean Higgs. Late Friday afternoon, we'll have some college basketball picks for you on Saturday. Until the next time, for Doug Upstone and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. Take care and God bless, folks.